Two players in the running for the National Player of the Year are ready to light it up in Lexington tonight. Madison Booker and Georgia Amoore. You can't miss these two in a top 10 matchup. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Kentucky knows how to defend its home court. They are 12-0 this season inside Memorial Coliseum, but a tough test tonight. Number 3 Texas comes in, and boy, do they have some momentum. Sunday was huge for the Longhorns. They took down the number 2 team in the nation in South Carolina. Just the second loss for the Gamecocks all season, but more importantly, it snapped South Carolina's 57-game SEC regular season win streak. And man, Longhorns were loving it. Welcome to Memorial Coliseum. Courtney Lyle alongside the Hall of Famer Carolyn Peckin. What did Texas show you on Sunday?
Look, the Texas Longhorns, they're for real, and I think that they've established themselves as a national contender. We've always known they have a solid defense. They've got a tremendous post game, but they also have a great complement of guards.
Yeah, one of those key players is a super sophomore in Madison Booker.
Madison Booker has turned her game up. Since January 12th, when Texas lost to South Carolina, she has been averaging over 20 points a game, almost 9 rebounds a game. She's got a smooth mid-range. You remember she ran the point last year. She's got tight handles. She's also got deep three-point range.
Speaking of running the point, Georgia Amoore does it very well for Kentucky.
She is making also a case for National Player of the Year because of the amount of weight that she has to carry on her shoulders. She is responsible for 53% of Kentucky's offense. It's either scoring it or assisting it. You're going to see a lot of production from that little point guard.
We'll see those two stars shine bright today. A little tail of the tape, if you will, a matchup that we're watching here. Two different styles. Texas, 37% of their shot attempts are at the rim. For Kentucky, 42% of their shot attempts come from three. Two different styles.
Contrasting menu of how these two teams like to score the basketball. It's going to be important, I think, today's game, who controls the boards, because it'll be second chance opportunities for Texas or for Kentucky. Can they rebound, run it, and then spread the floor and get those three-point shots?
Vic Schaefer leading Texas in his 5th season with the Longhorns. He took Mississippi State to 2 Final Fours. Right now his team projected to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And in his first year leading the Kentucky Wildcats, Kenny Brooks, they're seeking their first 20-win season since the 2019-2020 season.
Both these coaches looking to turn the page. Texas does not want to have a hangover for that win over South Carolina. And Kentucky, they're trying to bounce back after that loss they suffered in Oxford, Mississippi.
A top 10 battle in the Bluegrass State. First top 10 matchup here in Memorial since January of 2021. And Kentucky controls the opening tip. They put it in the hands of Georgia Amoore. Clara Strack over to Amelia Hassett, and Madison Booker comes out with the basketball. Booker inside to Taylor Jones. This post play is going to be big for Texas.
Look, that is signs of big trouble for Kentucky because they allowed Texas right away in transition to get the ball inside in the paint. We just talked about how many of their attempts are at the rim. And then Georgia Amoore picking up her first early foul.
But Kentucky is not a deep team. They usually play maybe 8 players, 7 usually, so they can't go very deep in their bench.
Well, Georgia Amoore got into a little bit of foul trouble in that game against Ole Miss.
Kentucky just ran out of time. Texas's defense showing up.
The full court pressure, you're going to expect that from a Vic Schaefer team.
Here's a Texas starting 5. We told you about Madison Booker. Rory Harmon is their point guard, was injured last season. She's back. Taylor Jones getting her own rebound. Turning around in the paint. Tiani Key grabs it. He can take it coast to coast. Stopped by Jacqueline Mwinentanda.
Well, Kentucky's going to have to be opportunistic when they run. I know they want to beat that Texas defense down the floor, but they've got to take good shots.
And there's going to be an offensive foul on the screen. That'll go against Madison Booker.
Our two stars already each have a foul apiece. Madison Booker and Georgia Amoore.
Madison Booker, the AP National Player of the Week.
Man, doesn't she just look like a different player from her freshman year? She had a fabulous freshman year, but she's dropped about 15 pounds. She's lean, she's quicker,
stronger.
Yeah, she increased her vertical, what, 6 inches?
Yes, she did. Georgia Amoore with the mid-range, in and out, rebound by Jones. There's Rory Harmon, calls her own number.
Both teams fighting of who's going to control the tempo of this game.
Now, let's talk about tempo for Kentucky. They want to move. They want to play fast.
Absolutely, they want to play fast. They want to score quick, but you've got to rebound the basketball and then get out, fan out. For Texas, they can be a little more deliberate because they have such a powerful post game.
And Vic Schaefer was telling us too when we asked him about pace. He said, look, I feel really confident in our half-court defense. If we can slow them down and play at our pace, felt good about it.
But the thing he was concerned with, all 5 players for Kentucky, they can be a threat from the 3-point line.
Well, Taylor Jones, a little contact to the face, and they call that against Clara Strack. So already for Kentucky, Georgia Amoore with 1 foul, Clara Strack with 1 foul.
We talked to Kenny Brooks earlier today. Would he consider some zone? But you can't stay against a team like Texas. You can't stay in a zone too long because Vic Schaefer's used to seeing it. And you start finding the holes inside. The main thing you've got to do against the Longhorns is keep the ball out of that painted area.
Shea Holly, a rare 3-point attempt. Texas only hits about 3 threes per game. Deja Lawrence wide open for the triple, no.
Tiani Key.
The effort, the strength for Tiani Key, the transfer from North Carolina.
She has been a pleasant surprise this season. We didn't see a lot of that from her when she was at North Carolina. Coming to Kentucky, this system, she has been able to blossom.
There's going to be a foul underneath the basket. That's going to go against Tiani Key, her first.
I love this effort. Against Taylor Jones inside and finishing on the right hand. Key's a left-handed player. She can just battle, finish inside.
Her head coach has called her the swag of this Kentucky team.
I like that.
She's battling right now with Taylor Jones inside. Madison Booker around Strack, misses, and the rebound by Key. Amoore pushing, pulls up. Well, Texas doesn't hit very many threes. Kentucky loves to shoot the 3 ball. They're second in the SEC in threes per game. They hit almost 9 a game. Jones step back swish.
And the energy from Minnetonka to crash in, create that extra opportunity. That's what makes Texas so dangerous, and they were so good at that. Going to the glass against South Carolina.
Tanda, number 32 in the burnt orange, has stepped into the starting lineup with Aaliyah Moore. They call her Amo, still unavailable. Did not make the trip. Hassett with the rebound. Kicks it to Lawrence. Yes! Kentucky's got its first 3.
Rebounding was a point of emphasis from Kenny Brooks. He was disappointed with how Ole Miss was able to out-rebound them on Monday.
Ole Miss had 27 offensive rebounds.
He said he's never been a part of a game where he's seen that happen.
Offensive foul against Taylor Jones battling Clara Strack down low. Her first. Clara Strack will get a breather here. Clara Silva checks in for Kentucky.
Full court pressure again from Texas.
They've already forced 1 5-second call. Georgia Amoore blowing by Shea Holly.
How quickly Georgia Amoore can get inside kick it out, and then immediately she's back at the top of the key.
I know. I was like, how did she get there so fast? She was just under the basket.
Well, the thing that Georgia Amoore does not do is pass and stand and watch.
No.
She gives the ball up and then relocates to make herself an option again.
Rory Harmon whistled for her first foul. Georgia Amoore was a part of Kenny Brooks' Final Four team at Virginia Tech and chose to come to Kentucky when Coach Brooks took the job. She'll get a rare breather. You don't see her come out of the game too much.
Well, I think Kenny Brooks is trying to steal her a couple of minutes of rest before the media timeout.
7 seconds, Hassett trying to get the basketball back, and it's going to be Texas ball. Kyla Oldacre has checked in for Texas, 0-0 in burnt orange.
Well, 5 offenses in a row at shoot around. Vic Schaefer worked out when he went to offense, and it was to get the ball right there, get it inside.
She said after the South Carolina win, I want to be dominant.
And she has been exactly that. She's so strong. She can get 2 feet in the paint, establish and command her space. The key to a post player, do your work early. She does not give up ground. The inside foot in the paint and never gave that up.
Kyla Oldacre's 13 points with 6 of 10 from the field against South Carolina on Sunday. Hassett misses under the basket. Booker setting things up. She stepped into the point guard role last year when Rory Harmon went down with a knee injury. When Intanda in trouble, back out to Harmon. Oldacre gets fouled. So Sunday they get the big win over South Carolina. Tuesday when they were back in the gym, it was 8 a.m. Kyla Oldacre, Blair Schaefer, their assistant coach, heard something, and it was Kyla working on her game.
Well, this is your post player. She went down there just working on a drop step. She had
handling.
2 basketball ball handling drills. You gotta love that.
Spent a couple of seasons at Miami, was injured for some of that time, got into the portal and was looking for somebody to help her develop her game. And Vic Schaefer and his staff have a track record of developing post players.
When she came on her visit, she asked Vic Schaefer to work her out. As a coach, when you have a post player who says, I want you to work me out on this visit, not only are you checking me out, I'm checking you out, because she wanted her game to grow.
And Coach Schaefer told us what he saw from that workout was that she had great mobility for a post player. He's like, I can work with that.
He said, what I loved he said about her is that sometimes now he has to talk to her about not being so physical. Listen, you'd rather have a post player you got to pull back than have to push. That's sweet from Georgia Amoore.
Georgia Amoore, Kentucky's leading scorer at almost 20 points per game. Her first points tonight. Jump ball, possession arrow keeps it with Texas. Close first quarter, Texas up by 2 on the road.
Up and rebound, it makes your team extremely dangerous.
Yeah, Taylor Jones on the finalist list for the Lisa Leslie Award. And I think Oldacre, she talked about it in the post game after South Carolina. She said, I'm not the player I was 2 months ago. She has kicked it up to another level and making this what Vic Schaefer has called a couple of monsters down low for him.
Well, that's what you have to have. If you're going to go after a national championship, your players cannot just rely on as good as they were early in the season, but continue to get better. And I have seen that from Oldacre. I have also seen that from Taylor Jones. Man, has she been a much more aggressive player this season.
Right now it's Oldacre working down low and Madison Booker for Texas. 3 seconds, Rory Harmon's got to take this shot. Off the iron and almost had her own rebound. Went out of bounds. They're going to talk about whose possession this will be. It stays with Texas. They say last touch by Kentucky.
diagonal furthest away from us. It got overturned.
Yeah, overturned, so it will be Kentucky basketball. Texas continues to bring that pressure.
Kentucky has the luxury of when a team presses them, you've got a player like Tiani Key, Clara Strack, post players who can handle it as well.
There's Tiani Key. She's shown some physicality tonight already. Tied at 9.
Oh, Clara Strack and Olaker are going at it.
Harmon weaving under the basket. Wenentanda at the free throw line. There's Georgia Amoore. Rolled it over to Gabby Brooks. Excuse me, Lexi Blue in the game for Kentucky.
Amoore may have got away with a travel. She shot it, it didn't touch anything, came back to her, and then got another shot. Kentucky gapping the defense, taking away the penetration in this dribble drive.
Wenentanda offensive rebound, banks it in.
I'm gonna tell you, an offensive, it's like an assist for Texas with how they hunt the offensive boards.
They are 8th in the nation in offensive rebounds per game. There's Clara Strack guarded by Olaker.
You see how Olaker's having to leave the paint to guard Strack.
And then she just took the basketball from her. Clara Strack has not attempted a shot yet because Olaker is all over her.
And I think when you're going against a player with size like Olaker, you've got to hit Strack moving, not with her back to the basket.
Okay, and then Clara Strack just blocked her.
These two are going to battle all night long.
I love it. Georgia Amoore goes flying, and the foul against Rory Harmon. That's her second. Well, what an ABC women's college basketball doubleheader we have for you on Sunday. Paige Beckers and UConn taking on South Carolina in a Sonic blockbuster. That's at 1 Eastern. And then number 3 Texas hosting number 5 LSU at the Moody Center in Austin. It'll all start too with the College Game Day crew at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN from Colonial Life Arena. What a big day that's going to be.
Oh, both these games are going to be must-see TV, but I'm specifically interested in the Texas-LSU game. These are two teams that like to make their money in the paint. Who's going to win that battle? You've got the size of Texas going against Anissa Morrow. What a rebounding machine is she for the LSU Tigers.
Leads the nation in double-doubles, and great news, we'll be there for that game, Pack, so you can see it in person.
I cannot wait. That's going to be fun.
Olaker with a couple more points.
You see the pressure of Texas against Kentucky, and there have been some backdoor opportunities, but they've got to find an answer for this right here. Olaker can have a field day one-on-one in the paint.
Olaker 2 seasons at Miami. Coming out of high school, she was originally recruited by Vic Schaefer, a McDonald's All-American, a Jordan Brand Classic participant. Georgia Amoore at the free throw line. This is the first.
You've got to believe Texas is going to continue to go to Olaker inside. Strack's already got one personal foul. Now Silva has the responsibility of protecting inside.
Rory Harmon on the bench with 2 fouls for Texas, so freshman Brianna Preston running the point. Wouldn't get the road bounce. Madison Booker, a fresh 20. Wenentanda right to the rack.
Strong. The 50-50 ball in shoot around this morning, both coaches talked about. You've got to win that 50-50 battle. Right now, Texas seems to have the edge.
Kentucky's scoring drought, almost 4 minutes without a field goal. Georgia Amoore creating, pulls up at the SEC. Logo makes it go. She's got 7. Texas can take the last shot of the quarter. They put the ball in the hands of Madison Booker.
You can either set a high ball screen 4 or hit the elbow and let her give and go.
Holly dumps it off to Preston. Olaker short on the putback. Gets a second look at it, and 2 free throws on the way with 1.2 on the clock.
Foul is on for 10, Deja Lawrence. Her first.
That's the first against Deja Lawrence.
Olaker at the line for 2.
Olaker trying to clean up on the backside.
One of 2 for Olaker. 1.2 on the clock, and Kentucky will just hold it.
After 1, the score, Kentucky 14, Texas 16.
Texas up 2 on the road. Kentucky hasn't lost at home this year. Still a lot of game left to play. Well, that Texas win over South Carolina made things really interesting when it comes to the SEC standings. Remember, if you're one of the top 4 teams in the SEC, that means you get a double bye in the SEC tournament. And right now, Texas and Kentucky, both teams we're watching here, are in the race for one of those top 4 seeds.
And for Kentucky to be in a 2-point game with Texas right now, I think that's really big. They've done a tremendous job defending. Texas is shooting 30% from the floor right now, and I think that has everything to do with the pressure that Kentucky has been able to apply.
Yeah, on the season, Texas shoots 48% from the field. Georgia Amoore, by the way, has had the last 5 points for Kentucky. She's got 7 to lead the Cats.
Well, and she has been able to find success in drives to the basket, not assisted with screens. When you bring screens, you can bring defensive help. She is so explosive with the basketball. You don't need that.
Right now guarded by Jordan Lee. Amoore, little hop, step over to the side for 2. Georgia Amoore listed at 5'6" on a very good day. Has known how to create space for herself to get her shot off.
Well, and Kentucky now has switched up to a little zone. Almost looks like a box and 1 on Texas.
8 seconds. Several times we've seen Texas be forced to take the 3-point shot.
And what did Kenny Brooks say? We have to finish the defense. And what does that mean, boxing out? That was a huge box out by Deja Lawrence.
Madison Booker swipes in to steal the pass. Remember, Rory Harmon on the bench for Texas with 2 fouls and a turnover.
This is a big possession for Kentucky right now. They've got to try to extend, get a lead, extend a lead with Rory Harmon on the bench.
Strack out to Tiani Key. She is a threat from 3. She's on another level right now. First lead for Kentucky, and her mom, Tammy Brown, is all about it. It's going to be the second on Clara Strack.
As Georgia Amoore rejected the screen, and this step back, she spaces herself so far away and able to knock it down. And then from the corner, Tiani Key, strong to her left. A beautiful, beautiful finish in the paint.
For the Cavs, number 2, Sanaya Tyler, replacing number 13, Clara Strack.
Tiani Key, I mean, you can just see the confidence oozing out of her. Loves playing at Texas. Kenton Brooks originally recruited her when he was at Virginia Tech, but at that point she was ready to go to North Carolina. And then when he left for Kentucky, she was on board.
Oh, yeah. Tammy Brown told me when it was announced that Kenny Brooks was coming to Kentucky because Tiani really liked Kentucky, but she wanted to stay close to home. When Kenny Brooks came to Lexington, said it was just a perfect fit.
Sanaya Tyler in transition.
She is flying everywhere Key is.
Oldacre shutting her down, but called for the foul. And that'll be the first against Kyla Oldacre.
You already said, Kenny Brooks said that Tiani Key brings the swag to Kentucky. Well, she sets the tone with the effort and energy that she brings on the court.
Her sister Tamari Key played at Tennessee. Makes those free throws look easy.
She's already ready to establish the physicality with Oldacre inside. This is a small lineup for Kentucky.
And we're going to get Tiani Key for the foul. That'll be her second.
Number 7, Tiani Key, her second, and the team's second.
Here's the mistake that players make. Yeah, you want to be physical, but don't hold. Keep readjusting yourself, not allowing the offense to seal you. That'll keep you out of trouble.
Number 17, Silva.
So Tiani Key is going to have to take a seat with 2 fouls. Clara Silva checks in. Clara Strack on the bench for Kentucky with 2 fouls. For Texas, Rory Harmon has 2 fouls.
Basket by Oldacre.
And that could be a problem because Silva is a freshman, and the experience of Oldacre and able to find ways to free herself up. Love to watch Georgia Amoore handle the basketball.
It's a beautiful thing. Almost got that bucket too. Booker kicks it to Shea Holly.
Two freshmen on the floor for the Longhorns.
And that'll be a travel on Jordan Lee, one of those freshmen. I mentioned the foul trouble. Very different benches in this game. Texas 7th in the nation in bench points. Kentucky 152nd in bench points. 352nd,
I would say
sorry.
352nd.
It's not great.
But when you have a player like Georgia Amoore that can produce points, that's important. But Silva's got to finish. She's got to give the Wildcats something.
Oldacre, Preston found her.
Now, another reason that Vic Schaefer's bringing the full court press, that can wear on Kentucky. It'll be interesting to see what kind of endurance do they have in the second half. Because going against a press, it takes a lot out of you.
Katie Brooks changing the play from the sideline. 6 seconds. Georgia Amoore over to Sanaya Tyler and a travel.
Steps go.
Oldacre getting down the floor, 0-0 in the burnt orange and getting the finish. You gotta love it when your big girls run.
Texas outscoring Kentucky in the paint 16-8. Booker, no.
Oh.
Madison Booker has not scored tonight. And Sanaya Tyler going up for the bucket is fouled by Booker.
Madison.
That's her second.
Madison Booker was a little slow getting up after that one. The sprint in transition. Tyler going strong. Vic Schaefer has sat a lot in this game. Have you noticed that? He's normally pacing the sidelines, and he has just been very, oh, he's getting up now.
But the jacket is still on.
Jacket is still on. He's had to sit a long time next to Rory Harmon.
She has 2 fouls. Madison Booker still out there with 2 fouls. Still looking for her first points of the night. Olaker going right around Hassett. She's got 13 points.
When she gets 2 feet in the paint, you've got to readjust yourself defensively. You've got to get around her. Otherwise, she's going to have a field day.
Easier said than done.
Well, that's true. You know, when I was in college once, my coach told me to get around a post player. Called a timeout specifically for me. I looked at him, I said, she posed too well, I'd have to pack a lunch.
I thought you only went free throw line to free throw line.
Well, every now and then I'd have to play a little defense down low.
Shea Holly picks up her second foul. Texas up by a point, led by Kyla Olaker.
18 points in the paint. Olaker, number 00, getting her work done. Kentucky's got to find an answer.
Seeing from Kyla Olaker. I mean, a dominant post player, we're seeing it right now.
But she talked about how Kentucky has been able to weather the storm with both Clara Strack being in foul trouble and Tiana Key. They can keep it close with those two still having to sit the rest of this half. This could be interesting in the third quarter.
Yeah, Strack and Key, their second and third leading scorers, both on the bench right now in foul trouble. For Texas, Rory Harmon is in foul trouble with 2.
Well, it's not only scoring that you're missing from Strack and Keys, they're also 1 and 2 in the SEC in block shots. They're 2 of the top rebounders for this Kentucky team.
Amoore short on the shot. Madison Booker still has not scored. She's 0 for 4 for Texas. Having to play some more point with Harmon in foul trouble.
When Kentucky in this box and 1, their focus is they want to make somebody besides Booker shoot the basketball.
Shea Holly got it back. Up top to Jordan Lee. And Hassett with the box out and the board.
I think Hassett is an unsung hero for this Kentucky basketball team. She does a lot of work on the glass.
With JUCO All-American before transferring over to Kentucky out of Australia originally, just like Georgia Amoore, but from about 4.5 hours away from each other. 6 seconds for the Wildcats. Amoore shoots over 2 defenders, and a Kentucky team who's usually solid at shooting the 3 is 1 for 7.
Amoore was 0 for 3 from 3 against Ole Miss. Yet to find it tonight.
Bucket, Brianna Preston. Six more college basketball games highlight our ESPN schedule on Saturday. It all starts at noon Eastern, but these are our featured matchups. Number 1 Auburn and number 2 Alabama. That's at 4 Eastern, and a Sonic blockbuster. Then Syracuse hosting North Carolina, and at 8 Eastern, Kentucky squaring off against Texas at the Moody Center in Austin.
And Kentucky is one of those teams. I think they're just so unpredictable, very dangerous. They all can score from the 3. Kentucky women, they need Georgia Amoore to get going from the 3.
She's 0 for 2. Booker up ahead to Lee. Preston shakes the defense. A couple of buckets in a row for the freshman, Brianna Preston. 6-0 run, Texas.
Kentucky's got to find scoring. Normally Georgia Amoore can do a little pick and pop action with Clara Strike, but not having her on the floor, it's been tough to find two, and no tougher than that one right there by Lawrence.
Deja Lawrence up to 5 points now. That was a big thing that Kenny Brooks talked to us in the Ole Miss game. Georgia Amoore needed help scoring. She can't do it all.
It's got to be, Lawrence has got to help her. Lawrence is a player shooting, what, 44% from the three-point line. And the rest of the team has so much confidence in what Deja Lawrence is able to do offensively.
And Lawrence is a 6th-year player. Both her and Georgia Amoore are 23 years old.
A lot of experience,
yes.
A lot of maturity on the floor.
Yeah, she started at Charlotte.
Now keep an eye on number 35 for Texas, Madison Booker. They worked a lot on these underneath out-of-bounds plays.
That was tipped by Georgia Amoore on the inbound pass. Looking for the foul call, won't get it. Texas back the other way. Madison Booker lay up her first points tonight.
That is just beautiful by Madison Booker. Just smooth drive down the middle of the lane.
Now Kentucky will slow things down. One minute till the half.
Watch Amoore, every time she gets the basketball, she's trying to find opportunities.
And that's going to be an offensive foul against Lexi Blue. Her second.
Booker is so smooth in transition. Little inside out, goes right by Hassett. And then her extension, her length, I think her fitness has allowed her just to elevate so much higher this season.
And dropped 15 pounds from last season to this year. Now she's found it. You see one go in. Started 0 for 4. Now she's hit her last 2.
How determined did she look in her eye in that South Carolina game? Wanted to bounce back from the first loss to the second, putting up 20 points in that last meeting.
Had just 7 the first time around against South Carolina.
Taylor Jones just got called for her second foul.
Number 44 Jones, her second, and the team fifth.
So Olaker's going to check back in.
0, Olaker returns.
2 shots for Sanaya Tyler.
I got to believe Texas going to hold for the last shot. Beat Madison Booker. I think a 2-man game with Olaker. Olaker has had quite a half, 13 points in this first half.
5 of 7 from the field. 6 rebounds too. Booker can take her time. Short corner, elevating. Woo! When you need a bucket, you let Book cook. Madison Booker started this game 0 for 4, and now she's got 6 points. Texas ending the half on a 12-3 run. They're up on Kentucky on the road. Back to Shay and Rebecca in the studio. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Halftime, perfect. The Rupp ice cream has made its way to Memorial. Look how happy I am.
I was happy too.
We had some wild stuff at halftime. Texas up on Kentucky 33-25 as we get set for the third quarter here in Memorial Coliseum. Courtney Lyle and Carolyn Peck with you. And Texas, look, they like to score in the paint. They had 24 points in the paint, and we saw some dominant play from Kyla Oldacre.
Well, Oldacre just really was able to have her way, and the thing that she does so well is establish and command her space. Kentucky late to bring the double team in isolation, trying to play Oldacre one-on-one. It just was ineffective. And specifically, the majority of the first half, Kentucky played without Clara Strack, played without Tioni Key, so that was a little less size that Texas had to go against.
Yeah, they got into foul trouble, and Georgia Amoore had to carry the load. 9 points in the first half, 3 for 12 from the field, and just the second time this season she has not had an assist in the first half.
Well, she didn't have her targets to throw to. We talked about the foul trouble that Kentucky had to suffer, and so Amoore was trying to do really anything she could. Well, Tioni Key and Clara Strack are back in the lineup now. I would expect Amoore to find more to distribute.
Rory Harmon also back in the lineup on the Texas side. She picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter.
Kentucky in this box and one. Hassett is following Booker all over the floor.
Saw them work on this today at shoot-around. Inside to Taylor Jones. And the rebound by Strack. Clara Strack did not even attempt a shot in the first half. She's their second leading scorer. The dump off to Tioni Key.
Clara Strack, one of the things Kenny Brooks talks about with her, number 13 in white, is how well she sees and passes the basketball.
Harmon misses. Taylor Jones with the rebound, up and in. You know, big picture-wise, right now, Charlie Cream has Texas as a #1 seed. Kentucky would move to a 3 seed if they pick up a win over Texas today.
And they're undefeated here at home. Remember how well they played against Oklahoma. Amoore had 43 points in that one. She's got to get going offensively today.
Tioni Key creating space and too short on the fadeaway. Transition 3 for Jordan Lee. This will stay with Texas. Texas 0 for 6 from three-point land. They had to settle for some threes because Kentucky's defense forced them into that in the first half.
Well, and what Vic Schaefer did coming out this third quarter, they're really a 4-guard lineup. Jordan Lee started in this third quarter to move Madison Booker into the 3, but tried to spread the floor a little bit for Texas.
Why does that work against Kentucky?
Well, I think that matchup is purely for defensive purposes because of all 5 of Kentucky players are a threat from the 3-point line. So you're more athletic to defend, and then it'll allow you to run in transition and open up the floor potentially for Taylor Jones inside.
Strack through the paint, and she's going to pick up her 3rd foul, an offensive foul.
But Strack had Jones beat on a drive to the basket. She should have looked to turn the corner. Rory Harmon able to be there and draw the charge. Strack is thinking purely pass on the offensive end for Kentucky. She's got to be a scoring threat.
Deja Lawrence had her shot blocked by Jordan Lee. Rory Harmon up ahead to Shea Holly. Inside to Taylor Jones. Some pretty ball movement there for Texas.
Well, Texas understand and get the ball down the floor, and the post players are running in the middle of the floor.
And Kentucky runs out of time. Second time tonight that Texas has forced a 5-second violation.
Taylor Jones sprinting in the paint, not running to the block, but in the paint to get great position offensively.
Madison Booker, and Kentucky calls a timeout as Texas has its largest lead. Coming up next, a couple of girl dads on both benches in this game. We'll tell you more on the other side. Well, both of our head coaches in this game got to coach their daughters and now have their daughters on staff. This is Vic and Blair Shaver, and then Kenny and Kendall is a member of Kenny's staff here at Kentucky. And Gabby, I love this photo, is on the Kentucky team. And it's so cool because we asked Kenny Brooks about this, and he said, you know, it was in 2017 I took my middle daughter, Chloe, to the Final Four and saw Vic Schaefer with Blair playing for him beat UConn. And he's like, I've been using him as an example of, yes, you can put family first. You can have a family atmosphere, and there's Blair Schaefer. She's an assistant coach on the Texas staff now.
Then he pointed out how it really became clear to him the family time he was missing during COVID, and his family was sitting around telling about stories, and it's like, where was I? And they were like, well, you probably were recruiting. And so having his kids on staff and being able to play for him allows him to have more of that family time.
And so cool to see that family connection on both benches. It's a three-pointer by Deja Lawrence on the other end. Texas just had its largest lead before that timeout. The kick to lead. What have you noticed early on about this third quarter?
Well, early on, Kentucky was missing shots, and Texas was able to get out in transition and bring the pressure, turning the ball over. After that last timeout, Kentucky was able to knock down the three from Deja Lawrence. They've got to be a little more patient, more selective offensively, and get good looks so that Texas can't get out and run.
Amelia Hassett likes the corner three, but misses. Kentucky's only hit 2 3-pointers. They average almost 9 a game. Harmon's pass knocked away by Clara Strack.
Oh, good hands by Rory Harmon there in transition.
Taylor Jones, the feed for Rory.
Just continually, Texas is finding opportunities inside. It was Oeker in the first half. In this third quarter, it has been Taylor Jones.
Booker takeaway.
Better defense by Strack there, not allowing Jones to get so deep.
And Strack's on the floor with 3 fouls, too. She's got to be careful. 3-point attempt from Shea Holly. It's the first make of the night for Texas from deep.
See, that's what I think makes Texas so dangerous. You think, okay, I got to stop them in the paint. It's not that Texas cannot shoot threes. They can. It's just not their first option.
Tiani Key. Meanwhile, Texas has hit 4 of its last 5. Air ball there. Booker steal. 13 turnovers by Kentucky. Kentucky basketball, but they haven't scored in 3 minutes. Texas up by 14 here in the third quarter. Let's hear from Madison Booker in our Wooden Watch, brought to you by Principal.
When I go to the stands and sign autographs and I talk to the kids, I just want to pass down my love for the game to them. Just how when I was younger, I got passed down from my favorite role models and basketball players. just to be able to interact with them is just so heartwarming.
Madison Booker is on our Wooden Watch. She is on the Naismith midseason, the Cheryl Miller finalist list. She's also obviously on the Wooden list, one of those super sophomores. Pretty good company.
Being able to be here and watch her in shoot around, she operates like a pro. I mean, we saw her interact with the fans as part of the requirements that you need to have when you get to the W. She's just a sophomore. Her maturity of how she goes about her business and then gives back to the fans, you gotta love that.
But she'll get the rebound here. How much do you think having to play the point guard last year helped her grow up quickly?
100% it helped her. It helped her to read the game, read it faster, understand why Vic Schaefer calls plays. Roy Harmon said she told Booker, there's a reason coach calls plays, and for a freshman to see that and understand that early in her career only helps.
Yeah, she took on that bigger role. Roy Harmon misses, but Taylor Jones fouled. Madison Booker had to step up when Rory Harmon went down with a knee injury. That is the fourth foul against Clara Strack, and she is 0 for 1 for the field today.
Over the gas, number 4, Lexi Blue returns.
Now Hassett's going to have to go to the 4 for Kentucky.
Lexi Blue comes in. Taylor Jones misses the first. Pretty solid ABC Women's College Basketball doubleheader on Sunday. UConn and South Carolina and a Sonic blockbuster at 1, followed by Texas and LSU at the Moody Center. It all starts with the College Game Day crew, 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN from Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. That's going to be a really fun Sunday.
It's going to be a battle in the paint. Yeah, Taylor Jones talking to her this morning. She talked about how she has become more of an aggressive player. She was pretty much a finesse post player. Now she is the aggressor inside. And the thing I felt was so funny, she said, you know, it hurts less when you do the hitting instead of waiting to get hit.
Yeah.
Look, she's battling inside with Tiani Key.
That'll be the third foul against Tiani Key. So now Key and Clara Strack, 2 of their top 3 scorers, in some foul trouble. Key with 3, Strack with 4.
I felt like that was going to be a problem with as physical as the post game is for Texas. Could Strack do so without getting into foul trouble?
I mean, talk about physicality. All right, Madison Booker.
She went in with determination.
Yes, I will get these 2 points, and maybe 3.
This is the work in the weight room right there, the focus and the finish over Deja Lawrence. Madison Booker is such a well-rounded player. She can play, we talked about her running the point. You put her at the wing. She can post up, finish inside. She can do it all.
Texas has forced Kentucky into 5 turnovers over the last 7 minutes.
I love to watch Texas team play defense. They contest every shot, pressure on the ball handler.
You don't have a choice if you're playing for Vic Schaefer. You have got to play some defense. Count it for Taylor Jones.
Jones is just making a living on Main Street. She runs the floor in transition, so even on the missed shot, she's in the position to get the putback, and she keeps it high. This is her 6th season in college, and knows she wants to play at the next level. She had to bring that physicality to the game. She's got a nice face-up as well. I think that Taylor Jones will make a great pro.
And she's talked about, too, she's taking the mental pressure off of herself recently. She found herself putting a lot of pressure on herself with it being her last season, and her brother Tyler has been someone that she can talk to about that. He was a pitcher in college, and she says, I talk to him all the time about the mental side of being an athlete.
Well, you've got to allow yourself some grace, allow yourself to make some mistakes, but to continue to play through.
5 seconds. Lawrence elevates and is fouled by Jordan Lee.
Now for Kentucky to get back into this game, they've got to go back to that spread offense and get opportunities to penetrate in and kick or penetrate in and get yourself to the free throw line. Score some points when the clock is stopped.
Taylor Jones swapped out for Kyla Oldacre. Jones with 15 points. Lawrence misses the first. 6 more college basketball games highlight our ESPN schedule on Saturday. Our featured matchups, #1 Auburn, #2 Alabama. That's at 4 Eastern in a Sonic blockbuster. And then Syracuse hosts North Carolina. At 8 Eastern, 7 Central, #15 Kentucky. Facing off against Texas at the Moody Center in Austin.
It's going to be a battle in the SEC. Tennessee, Auburn. Auburn has been playing fantastic basketball. Against Texas, the women looking to go into the high-low. Oldacre picking up right where Taylor Jones left off.
I mean, to be able to go back and forth between Kyla Oldacre, she had 13 points in the first half, has yet to score because Taylor Jones just took over in the paint for Texas.
Well, you look at the South Carolina teams that won national championships, they had dominant post play. You had Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, and Camila Cardoso. Well, Texas has got that. They've got a great rotation with Kyla Oldacre, Taylor Jones. You can put Winatanda inside. They've got a great post rotation.
Lawrence popping in the paint.
That's what Kentucky's got to do, and they've got to manufacture points quickly. The first good shot they get, they need to take it.
That's the first field goal in 5.5 minutes for Kentucky. Clara Silva whistled for the foul against Oldacre.
Silva.
Lawrence going off the bounce, off the curl. As soon as that window opens to elevate and finish, it's a good 2 for Kentucky. But Kentucky's got to find an answer for the post play. And I think one of the things that they need to do defensively is you don't wait to defend the post after they get down where that restricted arc is, painted area. You've got to meet the post players at the free throw line area. Make them have to work and repost, not just get you planted down inside.
Both drop in for Kyla Oldacre. 17 points on the night. She averages 9 a game.
I think that Oldacre's going to just continue to get better and better through February and March. It's going to be key for the success of Texas.
Georgia Amoore, it's been a minute since we called her name. Just her first field goal here in the second half. Ooh. Booker stopped by Silva. Oldacre got it back, and she's got free throws.
Number 7, Tiani Key for 4.
That's the 4th on Tiani Key. So Tiani Key and Clara Strack with 4 fouls apiece.
Oldacre at the line for 2.
Key is going to come in on the backside and try to help. I think the rotation on the post game for Texas is, as opposed to going after the steal, you just need to get your body in position to keep them out of the play. You may have to let the ball bounce on the floor, but you've got to try to eliminate the touches of the bigs of Texas.
Kentucky can take the last shot of the quarter. Two seconds. Hassett.
After 3 to score.
And Texas enjoying its largest lead of the night. 10 minutes to play, and the Longhorns up 57-35 on the road. Well, in the paint, it has been all Texas.
Texas has 36 paint points. And Courtney, you know what? They have come from just 2 players. It has been Kyla Olaker and also Taylor Jones that have combined for those 34. Just inside, in the middle of the paint. It has come easy for the Longhorns tonight.
Yeah, check out Jones and Oldacre. They have almost outscored Kentucky's entire team.
That's a good start.
That's
Kentucky.
a much-needed bucket from Amelia Hassett. Kentucky has dealt with some foul trouble tonight. Tiani Key and Clara Strack both on the floor with 4 fouls apiece, and Kentucky not a very deep team.
And Kentucky came out in a straight 2-3, no boxing one, and then getting out in transition.
Tiani Key, 12 points.
But Strack's got to be careful. She's playing in the middle of the zone, and Olaker has done a nice job of getting position. You got to anticipate her positioning now, trying to front the post. Oh, that's 5.
Yep.
That's it.
That's 5 on Strack. And so her day will end with 9 minutes and 14 seconds left in this ball game. And Clara Strack only attempted 1 shot tonight. She's their second leading scorer.
See, that's one that Strack's got to have the discipline. Understanding you have 4 fouls, you've just got to play with both hands high and not slap down, especially when you have 4 fouls.
So Lexi Blue back in the game. How does this change things for Kentucky now without Strack?
Tiani Key's going to have to play the middle of the zone. She's got foul trouble. She's got 4 as well. She's got to play disciplined to stay on the floor. Nobody has Amoore.
Sends it to Lexi Blue in the corner. Just the 3rd three-pointer tonight for Kentucky.
Now can Tiani Key stay on the floor? She's got to play smart in the middle of this zone.
That's number 7 in white. Texas working it around. Jordan Lee shakes off the defender. Amoore all the way in. And fouled. A 9-0 run for the Cats. Second on Kyla Oldacre.
Ball movement, scoring quick, finding the first available shot, knocking down the 3, and then staying in attack mode in transition. Amoore gets 2, and the bonus at the free throw line.
Kentucky has outscored Texas 10-0 to start the 4th quarter, even with Clara Strack fouling out. Cats not going anywhere yet. Look at the 4th quarter point differential here. Texas has not scored in the 4th quarter. Kentucky is trailed by as many as 22, but here they come.
Off of missed shots by Texas, Kentucky has gotten out in transition. They have looked for quick strikes in transition. This is how Kentucky has normally played all season, and it's just taken till the 4th quarter to pick up that tempo.
Now Kentucky is without Clara Strack for the rest of the game. She has fouled out with no points tonight. She's their 2nd leading scorer. There's another missed Texas shot. Kentucky will push.
And Kentucky changed up their defense out of that timeout, went man-to-man.
We've seen a box and 1 from them and some zone. Jordan Lee tipping it up in the air.
Tiani Key had to be careful. She's playing with those 4 fouls.
Oldacre can't finish. Shea Holly has it taken away by Amelia Hassett. Intercepted by Booker.
Now Kentucky goes back to the zone.
Why changing the defenses?
Well, so that Texas doesn't get into a rhythm. And so that last time out, Vic Schaefer talked about how to attack the zone.
Get to the middle of the floor like Lori Harmon just did. Her first points tonight. Those were the first points for Texas here in the 4th quarter.
Well, Texas had relied a steady diet of getting to the post. Guards have got to get pieces of the paint as well.
Hassett too much. Texas will switch out their post players. Taylor Jones comes in. She had 10 of her 15 points in the 3rd quarter.
And just standing in the middle of the paint. It just came so easy for Jones. Play in a zone, you have to anticipate the post up. You've got to jockey for position and not let anybody post up across your face.
7 seconds. Fresh 20 for Texas.
17 and 18 offensive rebounds for the Longhorns.
Booker up and in. She's got 13. It's now been a 2.5-minute scoring drought for Kentucky. $16 turnovers for the Wildcats.
Texas has just done a nice job of reading those cross-court passes.
Either side, it doesn't matter for Madison Booker.
Well, Booker is creeping in that short corner along the baseline, getting behind the zone and finding her opportunities.
6-0 run for Texas forces Kenny Brooks to call a timeout. We step aside for the last time just for 30 seconds. Couple of buckets for Madison Booker. She's got 15.
This is just a sign of how the sophomore has learned to read the defense. Creeping along the baseline in that short corner area, that's where Madison Booker has found her opportunities.
Madison Booker in the running for National Player of the Year from several different outlets on the Naismith and the Wooden lists.
Taylor Jones got called holding Tiani Key.
That's her 3rd.
Kentucky has had most of their success keeping the block area vacant. It allows driving opportunities and cuts.
There's Georgia Amoore, who's got 14. Back to Tiani Key, no. And the scoring drought of 3+ minutes continues for Kentucky.
Just the rebound, offensive rebounding. That is just such a strength of the Longhorns.
Got 19 offensive rebounds.
And remember, Ole Miss had 27 offensive rebounds just earlier this week.
Yeah, against Kentucky on Monday.
You see how the pressure of Kentucky just keeping, or pressure of Texas keeping Kentucky on the perimeter.
Jump ball and the possession arrows going to Texas. We'll have another women's basketball triple header Sunday on the SEC Network. Starts with this one. Talaysia Cooper at number 15 Tennessee hosting Ole Miss in Knoxville. That one's at noon Eastern. Cooper on the Naismith and the win lists.
I think Cooper is one of the best two-way players in the country, but these two teams got defense on their minds. That one's going to be a fun one.
Clock winding down. Madison Booker heats up, now 17.
The dribble drive is so hard to defend, especially when you're playing with foul trouble and you're Kentucky.
And Kentucky's been in foul trouble most of the night. Clara Strack has already fouled out.
Number 7, Lee, the third in the team, third.
Third foul on Jordan Lee of Texas.
Samaya Tyler, replacing number 10, Keisha Lawrence.
It's taking too long for Kentucky to get into an offense.
They haven't scored in over 5 minutes.
You watch Taylor Jones. She goes straight down the middle of the floor, making contact with Key inside.
Like he's got 4 fouls. And this Texas team projected to be a #1 seed right now, according to Charlie Cream, especially after that win on Sunday against South Carolina.
Kentucky's gonna have to go quick.
No shot. Foul on Shea Holly.
The thing that has impressed me so much about Texas is their ability to adjust. You take what your opponents give you, and that was getting the ball inside, but also their ability to play fast, to play slow. The depth that they have, the input that they have gotten from Jordan Lee, I think the freshman number 7, has given Texas some good minutes.
Vic Schaefer has talked a lot about toughness since that loss to South Carolina. He told us today we got out-toughed in that game, and since then Texas has turned the page on that. And you asked him, what is tough? How do you define that?
And I think that toughness is, it's not just physical. A lot of people hear toughness and I think it's just, body to body and physicality. But toughness is being able to stay locked in mentally when things don't go your way. When you miss a shot, you got to bounce back, next play, and being able to make that adjustment. When teams change up their defenses, how do you handle that? That's part of the toughness as well. And then battling on the glass. That is the biggest sign of toughness I have seen from this Texas team.
Yeah, and Texas out rebounding Kentucky right now, 43-26. Vic Schaefer said after the South Carolina win, you can't compete at Texas without being tough. Just not allowed.
And that's true. We've been at practices, and practice goes for 2.5 hours. An hour of it's probably offense. An hour and a half is on the defensive end.
And that's been since he was at Mississippi State.
That has been
that
since, I think, since Vic Schaefer's been in coaching.
Yeah.
The previous out of bounds is under review. On-court ruling is orange basketball pending review.
Vic Schaefer coaching under Gary Blair at Arkansas. They went to the Final Four. Then at Texas A&M, they won a national championship in 2011. And then Vic had the chance to take over Mississippi State. And, he went to the Final Four twice with no McDonald's All-Americans on the roster.
But how are his teams built? Number one, on the defensive side. And then he likes those small, feisty point guards and then a dominant post game And then he gets that versatile 3-4 type player. Remember Victoria Vivians?
How could you forget?
She could shoot it from the logo, but she could also play the 4 for him. And I think that that's the kind of player that he has in Madison Booker.
So again, they're reviewing possession right now. You see bracketology according to Charlie Cream. Texas a #1 seed, Kentucky a #4 seed at the moment. And, you know, 4 and above, of course, that means you are going to host first and second rounds, and that's a big deal.
Well, but when you look at, that's 10 teams from the SEC in the NCAA tournament that Charlie Cream has right now. That just shows you the strength of the SEC. A lot of talent in this conference. I mean, you can look at top players. South Carolina is loaded with talent. Texas, LSU, Anissa Morrow, Flau'jae Johnson. A lot of talent.
Really interesting if you look at ESPN analytics.
After review, the on-court ruling is confirmed. It's Texas basketball. The game clock will be reset to 1:50.
You know, surprising on this graphic, though, UCLA,
yes,
a 10% chance, and they're the only undefeated team in the country right now.
Yeah, and coming up tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, that's when they're going to play USC, the first of 2 meetings. So that's going to be really interesting.
You think Corey Closet putting that up in the locker room? Going,
yeah.
They only give us a 10% chance to win the championship?
I was surprised by that, too.
My question was, would Texas have a hangover from that big victory against South Carolina? I don't see any sign of that.
You said at the start of the game that Texas showed you on Sunday that they're a competitor, they're a threat. What part of that has carried over to tonight that makes you continue to think that?
Well, they've been consistent at being dominant in the paint. They've done a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball. Only 9 turnovers today, and Kentucky is no slouch on the defensive side of the ball. But I think also the depth that they have, because you're going to have that endurance to play against teams like a UCLA, USC, South Carolina. You've got to be able to endure for 4 quarters and be solid, and Texas has shown that.
Texas on the cusp of its 8th ranked win of the season. That's going to be an offensive foul against Justice Carlton. Well, Sunday's going to be really interesting because Texas has another test at 3 Eastern on ABC. LSU comes to town. 2 offenses that know how to score. They're both top 10 in the nation in points per game.
But it's also 2 teams that know how to shut it down, know how to defend, and just like with Vic Schaefer, players are required to play defense to get on the floor. Same is the case for Kim Mulkey.
LSU not in action tonight. They're on their bye, so they've had a week to get ready for that game.
I'm sure they're watching this and trying to look at how will they go about not allowing Taylor Jones and Kyla Olaker to get that post position inside. I'm going to be interested to see how the post game of Texas, how do they keep Anissa Morrow off the glass? Everybody's tried to do it. No one has been successful.
Everybody comes in with a plan, and then she happens.
And talk about toughness. That woman she's tough. She's tiger tough.
First in the nation in rebounds per game. First in the nation in double-doubles is Anissa Morrow. But for the first time this season, Kentucky will lose at home. And Texas, coming into Memorial Coliseum, it's the victory on the road. 4th top 10 win of the season for this Texas team. Their 8th ranked win overall.
Dominated on the glass. Vic Schaefer got exactly what he wanted from, especially his 2 big posts in Taylor Jones and Kyla Olaker, and then Madison Booker She just does what she does. Another 19-point outing, and she had 8 rebounds as well.
And Texas gets the win on the road, 67-49.
Big Blue Nation, your Cats return to historic Memorial Coliseum on
3 players in double figures. Oldacre with 19, but also Madison Booker leading the way with 19 points.
Well, Booker did a little bit of everything. Taking it off the bounce, creeping behind the zone when Kentucky went to that 2-3, and she also had 4 assists. This is a young woman that's just a sophomore that is a well-rounded basketball player.
We talked about, too, we saw Madison Booker, but also the battle in the paint that they gave them. 42 paint points tonight compared to just 24 for Kentucky.
Well, we keep talking about toughness, but
yeah.
I think that has everything to do with the mentality the Longhorns have. They are going to position themselves to get those offensive rebounds and putbacks to get your position. If you want it inside, you got to work early, and the bigs for Texas did that today.
And Madison Booker joining us now. And Madison, we've heard your coach Vic Schaefer mention toughness a lot. What does toughness look like for you?
I mean, dominating boards, defense, great defense. I just think, you know, being a tougher team, make another team play like into your tempo. I think that's toughness.
I had said that your win against South Carolina really put Texas on the map, that you're a contender for a national championship. How were you all able to come in today and not have a carryover or a letdown from such a big game?
Yeah, I mean, that is hard. I mean, South Carolina's a great team, and, you know, after that win, you know, like a lot of hype around our names now. And I just think that we have to have a mindset of not satisfied, and that we're still hungry, that we're still going for, you know, a different goal than just, you know, 1 game win. So I just think that also, like, it's a mature mindset. So you have to have that too, that you want to get better 1% every day.
You're just a sophomore. How much did it help your experience that you had running the point last year to being able to make such quick decisions this season?
Just a different role. I'm just playing, you know, point everywhere. I just think that last year I had to grow up real quickly, be mature, and I just think that the reason I had last year that I just, you know, that turned into turnovers or just not a great decision. I think this year I kind of like watched film, look back on it, and, you know, I'm matured about it. And, you know, I think you just got to move on. It's lessons learned in this game.
Madison, congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you so much.
Texas taking a win back to Austin. Its 4th win over a top 10 team on the road at Kentucky. 67-49 is your final score. Texas victorious. We'll get you back to Shay and Rebecca in the studio.